Hi, I'm John Holland, and you've seen my Bluebird videos or pictures, and I get questions about this feeder that I got at Lowe's for $15 about a couple things. One is if it's good, and two, the best way to set it up and what I use. And so what I want to do is I'm just going to show you how I have it set up so that one, you get the most out of your mealworms. And what I mean by that is a lot of times if you don't adjust these right, you get all sorts of birds in there. I used to get cardinals all the time and robins, and they just would devour the mealworms that I really wanted for the bluebirds. So what I did over the past year was play with it to see how low I could take the clear dome lid and to the lip of the blue tray so that the bluebirds could go up and under the lip, and maybe some smaller birds, but none of the larger birds that would just devour all the mealworms and not feed the bluebirds. So basically what I see, I might see a spare, occasional chickadee, eastern phoebe, or Carolina wren. Other than that, no other birds are able to get in there. In fact, it's really funny when the blue jays look at it or the cardinals look at it and just they're like scratching their head trying to figure out how they can get into this thing, and they can't. So it saves the mealworms from other birds, and the other thing is it keeps them dry. And I do use dried mealworms. I get them from Amazon, 11 pounds. If you want to know, it's roughly about 53 pounds, or excuse me, $53 for the 11 pounds. So anyway, I'll show you how I've got it rigged. And also I'm going to show you in this too that if it breaks, because they use a brass nut molded into the plastic, and after you use it for a while, that plastic, because it's just $15, will break. But don't throw away the tray. Don't throw this away, because you can fix it with just a couple of washers, and then you're in good shape, and maybe a nut or two. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So please pardon my appearance on the screen. It's about the bluebirds and not about me, but I got to show you how to do it. So here we go. So basically, on the bottom of this, you have the brass nut here, and a washer and the stem that comes down from the hood. Now, like I said, when you first get this brass nut is going to be actually molded into the plastic tray. But after a year or so, the plastic that held it got brittle and it broke. And so I didn't want to throw it away, so I wanted to know how I could save it. So what I did was I actually just drilled a hole in the tray, and then I just used a couple of washers, one on the bottom that you see, and you can see one right here, that would go up on the top. And I used a lock washer up at the tip top, so then I could bring it down as far as I could. Here's the other washer, and then I just basically have a hole. Let me dump these guys, the old ones, and so you can see there's a hole in it where it cracked, and you can actually see the cracks in it. And so what I did was, like I said, I just drilled a hole in it, got two washers, used the nut that came free from the plastic, put a nut that I got from Lowe's, and just screwed up in there so that I could put it down and secure it, and I won't have to worry about this base breaking ever again. It's actually stronger than it was when it was manufactured. The other thing that you want to do is, and I'll show you when I put the mealworms, is you gotta have this lip right here to this lip be 1.5 inches. The bluebirds will actually go up and under it. Other birds come at it and they can't get in. Like I said, just a few small birds can get into it. But if you lower it down, just by using this wing nut and lowering it down so this lip and the blue lip of the tray are 1.5 inches, then I guarantee you'll minimize the number of birds that can get in there significantly. Okay, so let me go ahead and put some mealworms in. And I actually, the tray was empty, and I can actually hear them. They're just wanting to know what I'm doing, talking instead of feeding them. So I just put the washer on, poke it through the bottom, the other washer on, screw on the nut. You see it's loose, but as I tighten it up, it holds it nice and tight. And then I just tighten it up as tight as I can. And then I just make sure that it's square. And there we go. So, as I said, it's about 1.5 inches from here to here. No other birds can get in. Full tray, very large tray compared to a lot of the bluebird feeders. My birds eat them 1 tray a day, and I just did not want to sit there and have to go multiple times a day to make sure that they were getting the food that I wanted to feed them. So here you go. I'm gonna set it right up here. And as you've heard in the other video, if you've watched those other videos, I whistle to let them know that it's lunch and dinner time. So what I'm going to do is, I just did this, I'm going to whistle a couple times, and they should be in probably in about a minute or so. I see one up in a big oak right now. He's looking at me like, come on, get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to whistle, and they should come on down and check it out. So here we go. And that's it. Hopefully I've answered your questions. If not, just reply back and be glad to explain anything that you have questions about. Happy bluebirding. I'm John Holland.